we go. Welcome to another session of Success with Dynamic Duo. We've got Sean Harvey here and we've got Dave Prosser. And we're really glad that you guys are joining us today. And it's really exciting to have another great guest on with us today. And I'm going to actually let Sean introduce. He's going to tell you about Dave, but also kind of give you a background of Success with Dynamic Duo, how it got started, simply because he's the guy that had the vision and the dream, and he's the talker. So go for it, Sean.
Thank you. Welcome, everybody. Sean Harvey here, Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. It's minus 25 degrees Celsius today in this god-awful, crazy weather. I just want to say this. The reason why this group came about is because I was an entrepreneur that was so hungry for learning from successful people. And I learned from a very good mentor of mine many years ago when I first got started, back about 12 years ago now. He says, once you get around the right environment, the right people, and the right mentors, your life is going to change. It's kind of like, it's kind of like your stomach. If you keep eating and eating and eating, it's going to stretch the stomach. It's not going to shrink back to its original size. And that's what we're talking about when we talk about internally with personal development. Now, we're in a leadership and personal development business, helping other entrepreneurs do what they want to do best in their lives. And I was just hungry for that. I was reaching out to people from this business, that business, finding out, hey, you're successful in real estate. What did you do? Was it always easy? I mean, always be hungry for new stuff from other people because they were more successful than me. And that's how this came about. And I procrastinated, like many of you probably have, about, it had to be better. It had to be, everything had to be right. The lighting had to be right. The screen had to be right. The environment had to be right, all that stuff. And I was feeding myself all those excuses. And I said, you know what, screw this. I'm going to just do it. We're going to, imperfect action is better than no action. It's kind of like knowledge is power, but it has to be applied knowledge is power. And it came about, and I reached out to Julia. I'm forever blessed and grateful that she accepted. But I knew this: I have to get other people uncomfortable to get what they want, so that I can get what I want. And it's all about helping other people. And I'm gonna introduce you to Dave, who we met, we connected. We're in the same biz op, and I just shared with him, hey, you know what? I just want to learn from you because you're doing some pretty awesome things, and I like, know, and trust you. And how could we help other people? So think of this. Have an open mind, please. This is not about pitching you a deal. We already know that you're in an opportunity. We just want to say this. What if you take away one thing from today's show about what we're going to teach you, or what maybe you might absorb in that scenario? Sorry about that. I forgot to put it on autopilot, so it hit the ignore. So what if you take away one thing that can help you take your business to the whole new level? Because obviously you started a business for a reason, and that business was you have to answer that question. So Dave comes from many walks, many different arenas. He did real estate, he did construction, he owned a coffee shop. I mean, he's a father, successful entrepreneur in Seattle, Washington. He got started about 6-7 years ago now, and he's doing some big things, and we just want to let you tell him about his story. But first thing, there's many people that come to Canada or United States or around the globe. They come for safety, security, and an opportunity. And Dave, we'll get into that question after, but just keep those three things in mind: safety, security, and opportunity, and I'll refresh your memory in a little bit. Take it away, Dave.
Yeah, hey guys, pleasure to be here. Thanks, Sean. Thanks, Julia. So a little bit about myself. I came over to Seattle from Ireland back in about late to mid 2008. After, like Sean was saying, I had numerous jobs going on back in Ireland, from managing a bar to doing construction, teaching people how to drive, which was pretty scary. It is as scary as it sounds. And I moved over here back mid-2008. My daughter was born shortly after in 2009. And, I knew I had to figure something out. And Sean, it brings me to what you were saying about safety. I mean, when I came over here first, I was dabbling in real estate. I was an investor in a coffee shop for a while. And the businesses didn't go as I planned them to. Let's just put it that way. Back in real estate, I had partners who we didn't end up seeing eye to eye, let's just put it mildly like that, and things fell apart very quickly. So I knew I had to do something for myself. I didn't want to depend on somebody else, a partner or a boss, to, you know, dictate how much I can get paid or how I can spend my time, because I did have my daughter on the way, and so I wanted to do something that would allow me to be at home, something that I could control, and ultimately something that I could use to help other people create the same kind of freedom in their life that I was hoping to achieve. Because when I say hoping, you know, back at that time, I was doing everything. And if you're new watching this and you're in the online space, you might be just starting out and you're spinning your wheels a lot and stuff's not working for you. I mean, just know that every successful entrepreneur has been in that position. And what makes the successful different than people who aren't successful is their stick-with-itness, right? Their willingness not to give up and their willingness to keep failing forward, because, you know, every failure does put you closer on that stair to success. You know, you're climbing all the time. So, you know, just don't get discouraged is what I'd have to say.
Awesome. So Dave, let me ask you something. Was it always easy for you to make that leap of coming from, you know, owning a shop or working at a pub or being in construction? How did you decide to say, you know what, screw this, I got to go and do something for my family? What sparked that into you to say, hey, if they can do it, I sure as heck can do it too? What is there an aha moment in your life that happened to you?
No. I mean, I do think you're either an entrepreneur or you're not. I mean, I always knew from an early age, I mean, since eBay came out, I don't know what year it was, but back in the day, you know, I remember when eBay came out first and ideas were spinning. I don't know what age I was, probably late teens, early 20s when eBay started up. I was thinking, how can I get stuff and sell it on eBay? And I started doing that, you know, just messing about. From the time back at school where myself and my buddy set up a grass cutting business where we go around the neighborhoods, get clients. So I think entrepreneurs really always have that streak. They always want to go out and make their own money. So I don't think it's an aha moment. I think it's just sometimes the pieces fall into place, but ultimately you always have that vision and you always know what you want to do. You always know you want to be your own boss and work for yourself and not have to depend on others. So I don't know about such an aha moment as something that's already implanted in your DNA.
Cool. Very cool. So would you say that you've been on this journey by yourself, or do you have mentors that have helped you, that you've reached out to kind of help bring that more out than it already was inside you? Do you believe that's true in your case?
100%. I mean, everybody needs mentors, but a lot of people, they get bogged down in mentorship. And what I mean is, you know, they spend more time studying, reading, going through courses than taking action. So it's very important when you are looking for mentors. I mean, mentors are everywhere. You go onto YouTube, you can find a million mentors, people that are doing what you want, showing you what to do. But like I said, you just can't get stuck in that training, that cycle of training. You got to get out there and start making mistakes. So, you know, it's a 50-50 balance. You got to find the right people to be around. You got to find the mentorship, but you also got to not let it set you back from taking the action that you need to do. The action that you probably already know what to do to, you know, be a success.
Cool. So would you say that it would be important for you to find a running mate that you can kind of learn and grow together, maybe somebody that's already in that business model or in that opportunity? Would that be a good thing to have for people?
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to have a team around you. It's nice to have people around you that you can surround yourself with. You know, of course, when you surround yourself with people that have what you want, especially people who are higher up than you are, I mean, you're naturally going to get pulled in that direction. But it's not imperative. I mean, your work ethic enough should be alone to bring you. And, you know, people call it all sorts of different things. Your why, some people call it. I mean, my why is my daughter. I mean, if my income goes, I don't want to go back to a job. So I know I've got to do this and I've got to keep going. I've got to keep hustling if I want to provide the kind of lifestyle that, you know, my family deserves. But like I said, of course, it's important to have people around you that are doing the same thing as you do, because the ideas are going to rub off on you. The work ethic's going to rub off on you. The mindset's going to rub off on you. And of course, mindset is key, you know. Me personally, I don't read a lot, but I listen to a crap load of audios. You know, during the day, I've got an audio playing, I've got an audio book going. I listen to podcasts from successful people, different interviews. I love interviews. I'm always listening to different interviews. And, you know, just what's the one? The Eventual Millionaire, Jamie Tardy's one. I love that. And what's the other one? John Lee, EOF, Entrepreneur on Fire. I love those two. Always listen to different successful people. And, of course, you guys, what you guys are doing, bringing successful people on and putting them in front of people that just need to get in touch, need to be around people like ourselves, you know, that are doing what they want to do. And, you know, that's bottom line.
Yeah, that's
We've got a guest.
We got a guest. Yes, Nivea. What's up? What's up?
How's it
All
going?
right, so
Join us. It's awesome.
let's pull it back, put the rug back just a little bit. What if, you know, example, they have a job and how do we help them, Dave? And I know the answer, but I'd like your opinion on this.
Right.
How do you help people that have a job, that are on that train wreck financially, that, you know, they go and, you know, they exchange 1 hour for less than $12 an hour for their job, and they're just really, really stressed. How do we encourage that person or inspire them to say, hey, take my hand and let's take you to the entrepreneurial side of the road, and let's actually show you something that could potentially change your life, provided your mind and your heart is open?
Well, I mean, you can't inspire somebody else unless you're successful yourself. So the best way to inspire someone is to create the success that they want. Them see you do it. I mean, everyone's got the same amount of time in a day. There's 24 hours. If somebody has a job, you know, usually I'm hearing bullshit excuses from people. I don't have time. That's the number one. I don't have time. I don't have the money. I mean, you hear that all the time. What do you work? 8 hours. You know, you come home, and what do most people do? They'll have dinner and they'll watch telly. They'll watch TV for a few hours. And they're the same people that are bullshitting, saying, I don't have time to do this and that. So, I mean, it's like I was saying earlier on, Sean. I think you either are an entrepreneur and you will do what you want, or you won't. Because it's the same people I see on social media that, you know, they're saying that they want the success, they want the lifestyle, but their actions aren't saying that. I mean, I think a lot of people are wasting their time. I think they should just go and get a job, because I don't think they're cut out for this. I mean, it's all well and good saying, well, I want it, I'll do what it takes. But I mean, if your actions aren't supporting that, maybe you are just wasting your time. Maybe you should go and get a job. Mm-hmm. Because if you want this lifestyle, I mean, it's a business like any other business, and you got to do what's got to be done, and you got to get serious about it. Because if you're not, you're just wasting your fucking time.
Yeah, no, I hear you there, man. And you know, this is really the biggest challenge for most people is they have that job that they hate. They say they want this. Mm-hmm. Dave, I want to work with you, buddy. I don't care what the expense is. I'm all in.
The next week they're off doing something else.
But really, they're not all in. And I tell people this, and it kind of freaks them out a little bit. I say, you know what? Unless you're willing to die for your success, you're not all in.
Yeah.
And this, you go to your job that you freaking hate. I mean, people got the death grip Monday morning on that goddamn cup of coffee, and they're like, I hate this guy. I got to go and talk to this jerk. And, you know, 85% of job satisfaction surveys are, I hate my job. Mm-hmm. If you hate your job that much, nobody asked you to go and apply there in the first place. Why are you still doing it? Because they want to chase the paycheck.
Because it's easy.
And it's easy to do. But I think that this has a lot to do with the mindset you were talking about. But the biggest challenge is people themselves. They're a detriment to their own success based on their beliefs and their thoughts and their words that they talk every day.
Well, I mean, it's laid into us for years, you know. I mean, the model always was. You go to school, you go to college, rack up the student loans, and you come out and you have a great job, which, you know, was probably true 20 years ago. I don't know. I was never a school guy. I dropped out of high school. But I know now the statistics speak for themselves that the majority of people that do go to college, they rack up debt and they never even actually get into the job that they majored in. And they're broke paying back student loans, which to me doesn't make any sense. I mean, you can't argue with numbers. That's what I always say to people. You know, the numbers, the facts speak for themselves. You cannot argue with them. you cannot argue that it's just a broken model. And a lot of people, still want to go that route. I don't personally get it. I mean, I agree with college if you're going to be something like a doctor or something that you're passionate about, a lawyer or something that you really want to do. I mean, if it's in your heart, but other than that, I think it's broken.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we went from the industrial age to the information age, and a lot of people haven't caught up to that. And that's the big difference right there, because actually I read, just finished reading Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki, and he talks about that. And he said that up till 2010, that old model would work up to a point. And everything that he said would happen from 2010 till now is exactly what's happened. Loss of jobs and wages going down and debt increasing, like everything. And I'm reading this thing going, holy moly, he's totally right. So, and I have to agree with you on the entrepreneurial spirit. I grew up on a farm in Ontario, and my parents grew tobacco for a living. And so, I mean, my brothers and I, all of us had our entrepreneurial background, right? So we've all had our, not wacky tobacco.
I didn't say wacky tobacco.
It's actually kind of funny because all three of us ended up being entrepreneurs of one level or another. And I have to agree. And it's so funny. I mean, you guys have probably heard it too. It's like, oh, I'd love to have my own job, do what I want all day. Yeah, no, it's not.
Yeah.
There's no security in a job anymore.
No,
there's no security.
You're just going to get a pink slip.
The only way to be secure is to be self-employed, or to build up your knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And like you said, Dave, I think that this is so important that people understand. See, people don't understand, like you said, if I want to be a doctor or a brain surgeon, I got to invest at least $250,000 in student loans in 10 to 12 years of my life, potentially even 15 years of my life, depending on what I major in. And guess what the annual salary is the first year I get out of school 15 years later? Maybe $150,000. The return on investment that you give 10 to 15 years of your life, the $150,000+ worth of thing, and all of that time, sweat equity, the return on investment is a negative 1,000%.
And there's no refunds.
And there's no refunds. And there's no chargebacks.
No chargeback, no refunds.
That's the part that just blows my mind about being an entrepreneur, that a lot of people don't see that, hey, when you start a business, it's do or die as an entrepreneur. But if you're in the right model and you're in the right synergy of the environment, because people want to be involved in things that are bigger than them. So environment, you got a buzz, you got to be freaking excited about what you're doing. I mean, the group in one of the opportunities that we're in is buzzing, like it's attracting people. And guess what? They don't ask for refunds because they got skin in the game. It is that awesome. And we get to meet with great guys like Dave. I mean, it's all about, it's not the lack mentality. It's, hey man, I got $10, $20, $30,000 invested in this thing. I'm going to make it work. That's the mentality. And if you have that mentality in everything that you do in your life will never be the same financially.
It is about having skin in the game. I mean, most people that come into our arena are people just wishing. They're wishing, they're hoping. If I pay this money, this tiny amount of money in comparison, we'll just make money automatically, and without really investing into themselves or their business. I mean, like you open up a traditional business, what are you spending? 50 grand, 100 grand, and 500
grand.
Yeah, in the bottom end,
Yeah.
But people here, they can start a business for $1,000, $2,000, and you see, it's a low barrier of entry. I think that sometimes people, it stops them from actually really, really going after it and saying, well, it's balls to the walls here. If I fuck this up, I'm fucked. But if people started investing more into their online businesses and taking it seriously, $20,000, $50,000, then they're not going to take it so lightly.
Yeah. They're going to play full out. They're not going to, well, I'll try at this thing. If it only works, well, maybe I'll ask for a refund. They don't even think that way.
You don't think of a refund in traditional business. You go out and you buy a coffee shop, like I do. I mean, you're not thinking, well, if I fuck this up, I'll get a refund. Someone will give me my money back. It
Not gonna happen.
business does not work that way. And people need to realize that online business is the very same as any other business. You got to put in the work. You got to do what needs to be done. I mean, for example, events. You look at every successful leader in any company. I don't care what company it is. They're at company events and they go. So would it not make sense if you're a new person watching this and you see all the top successful people in every company getting to these events? Do you not think that you should be there as well?
Of course.
I mean, it just makes fucking sense, I mean, it doesn't take a mathematician to add up the numbers here,
Well, and to compliment what you just said, Dave, here's the thing that blows my freaking mind. You are in the direct reflection. Your income is in the direct reflection of the 5 closest people you hang out with. So if you want to stop being broke or cash flow issued, you need to start hanging out with people that make 10 times more money than you, and it freaks you the hell out to just be in the same room with them. And I get goosebumps talking about it. And when you have that, it's totally mind-blowing. And then you're like, okay, now I'm in the right place. Now I'm doing the right things. That's the best part.
It's all about relationships as well, it's like anything else, you need to have those connections. It's the old saying in business, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. That's the very same thing in this business. It's all about getting around the people who have what you want, making those connections and learning from them. It doesn't have to be sitting in a room, watching a person draw circles or crap like that, It's the connections are made at the bar, the connections are made outside, connections are made in the hallways, and the friendships are built. And that's really what solid business is built upon.
And there's one thing. If you make up your mind, and I tell people this, and I use this to this day, you only have to make that decision once to never miss a big event, and you never have to make it again because it's already locked down. So if you sign up and you go to that event and it's in March, coming up in a few weeks, you're going. So if another one comes up in April, you've already made that decision. Guess what? You're going in freaking April. It's not, okay, well, I thought you were committed. Well, I am, but. Your butt's what you sit on. The reason why God put your brain on your head is because you sit on your butt all the time, and you would get really, really numb. You got to make that decision once to never miss a big event. I promise you that it will change your life and your business, because you will interact with people like Dave that after a beer or two will give you that golden nugget that you've been thinking about for weeks and weeks and weeks before that event that could change your life and take your business to another level.
Yeah, very simple. I mean, a 5-minute conversation can change the whole direction of your business.
And you get to hang out with people that make high 6 and 7 figures, and they want you to win because everybody wins then. Teamwork makes the dream work. It's that freaking awesome.
I'm sure I'm not the only one that feels Dave's intensity here. Like, it's just amazing. Focus. Wow. I'm just amazed.
You have to be laser focused, right, Dave? I'm laser focused with being obsessed with being financially free so I can go and free other families from the exact same thing. Because my business goal this year is to free 250 families this year alone, free them from the financial ruins of the dungeons of debt.
Yes, the dungeons of death. I love that. And I mean, once you have that vision and you can see way further, you can see down the road, doesn't matter what little bumps you hit on the way, because you can see that bigger picture, and that's what you're going towards.
It's kind of like
everything else doesn't matter then.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the Martin Luther King. You inspire people on your vision and your mission. It's not about the how or the what, it's about the why. Yeah. I had a dream that I'm going to save 250 families this year alone from the financial ruins of the debt dungeons.
Yes.
Yes.
And I know for myself too that once I developed my vision, it's all that other stuff that happens during the day that doesn't stop me anymore. I just keep on going because that's where I'm going, is out there. It's not what's happening here.
Yeah, it's way out there. It's way past what you're seeing right now.
That's right, exactly. Don't focus on it.
It's kind of like, Julia, you have a sandbox. And in that sandbox, it's got the little grate underneath it. And you're walking through the sand. And as things come about, they just kind of sift down and fall down. And you just keep focusing on your path. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. You have to be so laser focused. You're not going to have that knothead brother-in-law, sister, aunt, uncle, whoever the hell it is, talk you and feed a bunch of BS into your ear and just say, you know what? Thanks for sharing, but your opinion means nothing to me because I am that focused.
Yes.
Okay, so Dave, can you tell us about a little bit about your process? Because we've got people that are listening that often are stuck in that crap every day. How did you develop such a laser focus? What was your process for figuring out you want to help people? What happened for you?
I mean, I didn't really have a process. I guess it's just built in, you know. I mean, like I said before, you know, it's kind of in the DNA. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I always knew that I'd end up working for myself. Within the online space, I mean, what makes me want to help other people? Because I see how fucking good it is. You know, why wouldn't you want to show other people that are stuck bitching about crappy jobs and shit like that? Why wouldn't you want to show them that, hey, this is easier? You know, I mean, it's not easier, but it's better. Sorry, easier was a bad word because it's not easier. It's a lot tougher, especially in the beginning. But it's a hell of a lot better. And, you know, if you're prepared to sacrifice for those few years, you will have a breakthrough. I mean, you will start earning the money you want if you just keep doing what other people are doing for long enough and getting around them and, you know, all the other stuff we spoke about. But, I mean, why wouldn't you want to show other people? I don't know anybody that is successful in this industry that wouldn't want to show other people or inspire other people how to do the same because it's just that damn good, you know?
Well, and here's the other thing, Dave. Money makes good people better and bad people worse.
It does.
So think of this. I look at this. I look what I had to bust my anatomy to every single day, 15 to 18 hours a day, depending on the day, to make $2,500.
Yeah.
And we can go and do that in one or 2 days.
Yeah.
And I literally had to give 180 hours in 2 weeks to make that kind of money after the tax man totally took advantage of me.
It's
like
crazy.
It's just mind blowing on, you know, people want that. Okay, I exchange time an hour, I'm going to get paid this. No, that's how you're going to be broke financially forever. That's your boss is going to win, not you.
Mm-hmm.
When you exchange time based on value, guess what? You can make $10,000 an hour. You can make $10,000 a day, whatever that is. When we give as entrepreneurs like this, we're giving with no ROI right now, but it's long-term ROI. And that's where people miss the boat.
Yeah, I mean, the money comes on the back end. You know, you're going to put in a lot of work and time at the beginning, but eventually you're going to be working a lot more for a lot less. But, you know, slowly but surely over the years, it balances out, and then you're going on the upswing. And once you're up there, because you won't get up there without putting whatever it is in here that you need to get up there. You know, you need to have that knowledge, you need to have the connection. So once you're up there, you can't lose the shit that you put into your head already. So you're not going to go anywhere. You know, it's not about companies or anything like that, because companies can come and go. It's about the knowledge and the way you build yourself up so you can actually have that skill to go anywhere and build and make money.
Yeah, and sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, what baffles me is that so many people will work harder for a boss than they will for themselves. That just baffles me to no end.
and not only work for their bosses, they let their families down.
100%.
You got an anniversary coming up. Oh, sweetheart, I'm sorry, I'm going to be late. The boss is being a jerk, and I got to work extra overtime today, even though you got a nice romantic dinner for you and your bride, or you and your lady, whoever, your special someone in your life. You got a birthday party for your kid. Oh, God, I got to work overtime. I'm sorry. And you let them down, and you let them down, and you let them down. And it's okay. It's not okay. Stop doing that. Start doing things that are in your family's best interest.
Sean, slavery is not abolished. It's alive and kicking.
I know. It's crazy. And people say, well, what are you worth per hour? Well, I think I'm worth about $25. No, I think I'm worth at least $2,000 an hour. Whoa, how do you decide that? I said, I decide that because I'm the CEO of me.
Yeah.
Not
I can't imagine somebody telling me when I can go and take a piss, you know? Or eat a sandwich.
Yeah.
Or, you know, have a beer or whatever I want to do. Can't imagine it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's we're in a state of emergency on the globe, but I think most people need to have an emergency meeting with themselves and actually talk to themselves in the mirror and say, is this really where I want to be in my life? Is this really how I want to struggle financially? You know, I know this from being a financial advisor for 9 years, same with Julia. The financial state of 98% of the families is on track to retire never and work until they die. There has to be something said for that. And the only people that win are the banks and the government.
So what do people end up with on average? Well, it's about 40 or 50 grand at retirement age. So it's basically enough to just survive.
Not even.
Survive. I mean, and especially the way inflation is going and the economy and all that shit, you know, that's probably not even guaranteed anymore. I mean, I'm not a financial guy, so I don't know anything about that. I just know how to make money. But at the end of the day, I doubt if that's enough for anyone to live on.
No, it's not. I mean, by the time the tax man's done, you're lucky if you're left with 27 grand. That's poverty.
You're screwed.
You got rent. Even if your house is paid for, guess what? Most families, Dave, just so you know, and if you're not aware, most families that I met with were baby boomers, you know, Julia's age, and I love her for this. They had a house bought and paid for. They have $150,000 at the most saved for retirement. And they're 12 to 13 years away from retirement. And they got this plan that, I'm going to retire. The equity's in their house. And that's the part that most people do not understand is having your money in your house is not doing you any favors at the moment. It's doing the bank. So we've been traditionally taught, work hard, Dave, pay off that house as fast as possible, and then start saving for retirement. No, you got to start saving today because time is of essence. It's easier to save X amount of dollars in this time than it is in this time. And you got to save it in the right place. Very important. And people say, oh, but we're so bad right now. Guess what? The banks are boasting the biggest profits today in 2017. The last quarter of 2016, October, November, December, $2.1 billion for most of the banks. RBC, Toronto Dominion, Scotiabank, Bank of Montreal, and ATB Financial, which are Canadian banks. And I'm pretty sure it's no different in the States. But yet the average family in Canada and the United States are struggling financially and one paycheck away from being out on the street.
Well, you see, I think then what people need to do is they need to figure out where the banks are investing their money and, you know, bypass the middleman.
Yeah. You need a good advisor. You need to invest owning the banks, not in the bank.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, invest in the banks. Put your money where the. I mean, if you're saving your money in the bank, all you're doing is giving the bank a short-term loan, right? That's it.
Well, and they get the
or long-term loan or whatever.
I say
no
this.
Interest, a zero interest loan as well because they're not paying you interest. I mean, they're making.
Yeah, they're paying you like nothing. So I say this.
They're probably making 8% interest on your money. So I mean, there's their profit, you know.
Well, here's the other part. I use it as they say this. They are pimping our money.
Pretty much.
So credit cards, all that other stuff, it's mine. People say, oh, what's the rate of return? Hey, the bank gets 22% on their money, which is our money. They have zero risk. Zero.
Dave, if you don't understand how the banks work, if you've got $1 deposited in a savings account, they can loan out 10% of that. Okay, so then they turn around and they loan. Well, hang on, I'm not done yet, Sean. So then it keeps on going and going and going. So that actually money is a lot of times loaned out 1,000%.
Yeah.
Over and over and over again. You know, and it's just crazy because let's say a business borrows $1 million, they take and then they can say, okay, well, there's 10 times that again. You know, and it's just crazy. It's just like numbers that are not even real. You know, so people don't understand how all that works. And it's mind boggling when you actually start looking at how they're making their money. And really there's no basis for it.
It's truly leverage.
Totally.
Oh, completely. 100%.
And people don't understand using OPM, other people's money.
They do though.
When you use other people's money to create wealth for your family, your life will never be the same financially. You will make more money in one day than you probably made in freaking 3 months.
Yeah, absolutely. So, man, did we ever get down a little road there, didn't we?
Well, and you know what? I believe that it's important because most people don't understand the financial scenario of why the banks do what the banks do. Hey, we're the ones that created the banks back in the 1900s, so it's partly our fault. But they don't understand that. See, we needed a safe place, and then they said, well, how can I make money from their money? Well, I'm going to lend it to Dave, I'm going to lend it to Nivea, I'm going to lend it to Julia, even though it's, $10,000. Guess what? We're going to leverage that 17, 18 times. You're going to get the credit cards and the mortgages, and next thing you know, look at it now. Back in 1989, when the mortgage rates topped at 21.9%, the banks were making $300 to $500 million every 3 months. We're at 2.1 billion 2016. What does that tell you?
Yeah, exactly.
6, 7, 8, 10 times. They've almost 10x'd what they did back then. But we went through 2008 downward slump. We're in 2016. We're still down a little bit. Look at interest rates. They're still low. I mean, we have a whole new conversation talking about the economic part of the world. But we're just talking about, hey, what would an extra $500 or $1,000 do for you and your family in the opportunity that you started based on here? That would change your life. That's why we talk about this. It's so important. Money's not everything, but if you don't have it, it's everything. The financial situation of 98% of the families is on track to retire never and work until they die. That's why you started the opportunity that you're in. How do you change it? Get around people that want to help you. That's why we're here. We want to help you, inspire you, that we can make it help in your business, change that. Because you change it here, you change it in your own reality. You start hanging out with people like Dave, make multiple six-figure income. What would that do for the average family? You go from making $2,000 a month to making $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month. That would change your life. And you'd stop focusing on the lack of money in your life, and you'd actually go and help somebody else do the same thing. That's why we're here today.
Plus, too, we also have to balance the mindset here with understanding that as you grow your finances, you need to have a better financial education to know what to do with it, because like Dave said, companies come and go. Well, if you've put all your eggs in one basket and you're not, making sure it's more secure on this side, then you're going to end up being in the same position, because if you don't find something to replace that company or two that goes away, so a lot of people, they'll increase their finances, but they increase their lifestyle. And so rich people, what do? They make sure that they've got all that stuff organized so that if everything goes away, they're still okay, like as far as their work or their company, whatever. So, I mean, there's two sides to this part that we're talking about here. And as long as people understand that they need the balance, they need to get the weeds out, but also to put good stuff in. And that's the financial education as well, as long as, it's part of that whole personal development, right?
100%, Julie. I mean, at the moment, I'm going through an investing mentorship, because I'm always trying to learn, and I'm not big up investing, but I'm going through a monthly membership. I'm a part of a membership site, Com Misery, I'm going through his deal. He was one of the billion-dollar investor, and I'm learning strategies from him. And it's one thing, if you don't know enough about something, don't be afraid to say, well, I don't know enough about that, and go and find someone that does and learn from them. That's
a great place where I started learning too was from Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki.
Rich Dad Poor Dad, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a lot of. Have any of you guys ever played the cash flow game?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I have it downstairs.
Yeah. It's still in the box wrapped up. Because, I mean, that's a great way to do it, because it's a game, but you're learning. It's sort of like learning Monopoly too, right? Yeah. And that's kind of where the basis was for that game. But, I mean, it's fun to learn that kind of stuff if you're willing to. And, like Robert says, 20 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day to increase your financial education, but also to work on what's in here as far as, that crap that holds us back. That, what did Ari say earlier, Sean? SLBS, self-limiting belief system. I love that, because it's true. We all have that, a little bit anyway. Some are huge and others it's much smaller, but we can all do something about it if we choose.
Yeah. your why has to be driving force. I mean, if you're sick and tired of telling your kids no all the time, there's a reason why they say that the no word has been told 50 million times before the child's 8 or 9 years old. It's the reason why is because we've been programmed from our parents. Don't spend money you don't have. Money don't grow on trees. All of this other BS. And there's no wonder that I don't have that money. We can't go do that. Oh, we can't go on vacation because we can't go do that. Rather than say that, become resourceful. Rather than shrink your expenses, increase your income.
Yeah.
The more you make, the more you save. Pay less tax. There's a reason why you started a business. And if you utilize those to your advantage, guess what? Your tax refund from the IRS or the Canadian government will pay for that vacation so that you can take your sweetheart on that 10 plus year that you haven't had a vacation and take her and make it happen, courtesy of the government. Makes sense to me.
I bet you weren't just on holiday, were you, Dave? You were actually working while you were gone.
I was working.
Yeah. I bet you didn't go without your laptop.
Oh, hell no.
I remember when you were in Dublin, Ireland, when you did that Facebook Live in the pub. Look at that's my buddy Sean, he says. That was awesome. All right, I got to get the fuck out of here. Yeah, no, so that's the best part, guys. You know, we don't know everything. We don't intend to portray that we do, but we just get right around like-minded people that want to truly help somebody take their life and their business to a whole new level. That's why we're here doing what we do today.
Yeah. One thing that has come up while we were talking is a lot of people think that rich people are bad. They have that belief. And the reason, and they say, well, I mean, we can talk about Donald Trump, just a perfect example. It's in the media a lot, right? And I've heard people say, he has not paid taxes ever. And my response is because he's created companies and he's taken advantage of all the things that the government offers him. How many jobs has he created? He's taken the risk. And
he's clever. Don't
look at it that way, right? And, you know, I mean, so he can, I'm going to say use the system. It's probably not the right way to say it, but he's taking advantage of all of those things. He's not really using the system. He's just he understands it. He has the best advisors that help him to do that, but he's created companies and he's taken risk on himself too. Right. And so, I mean, and that's what people don't understand is they look at the rich people, but a lot of rich people are strong philanthropists too. They give back hugely.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And so there's that two sides, but most of us, and I've heard it most of my life, is rich people are bad. You know, rich people take advantage. They milk other people. And we sort of did it too with the banks because a lot of people who are rich are investing in the banks, right? But on the other side is that it's a business. And people don't understand all of that. And it's that short-sightedness. You know, they'll work hard for somebody else. They look at a company owner and say, oh, well, he just uses his employees. Well, he's only going to pay people enough to make them come back the next day.
But if the same people understood it and were in that position, they'd be doing exactly the same thing. Exactly,
Dave. It's all education. It's all perception.
Of course.
Because people are stuck in that poor me, the victim, everybody's against me. They're never going to get past that to be able to say that, oh, gee, they could run there's a lot of people out there who want to run their own business. But the ones that with the entrepreneurial spirit who will go and do it and find out what they need to do and educate themselves to move past into that part.
And the other thing too as well is you got to be willing to think outside of the box. Right. These tax laws are geared for the self-employed business people. Hello? The government made it themselves. Do you think the insurance tax shelter, most people have no freaking idea what that is. Nope. Dave, I'm going to share this with you. Do you know that you can buy a life insurance policy on your life and tax shelter a bunch of money in your business from your business and no pay tax on it? It's called an insured retirement plan in the United States, and it's called a universal life policy here in Canada. Insurance tax shelter. You want to buy insurance?
Whoa.
We can have a conversation after. We'll have a private conversation after, but you can tax shelter money from your corp and you can actually draw income from it tax-free in retirement based on the life insurance policy that you set up.
See, here's an education piece. Now you just opened that door for somebody, Sean. Someone's going to go, I want to know more about that.
You just opened it for me.
Absolutely.
Great. We'll have another conversation, and I'm sure you'll answer the phone then.
Oh yeah.
So it's all about these tax laws, the tax deductions, the capital gains, the capital losses. All of those things make or break you as a business.
Mm-hmm.
Employees have 401k, and they have very little employment tax deductions.
That's right.
As a business, it's no different here in Canada. RSPs are pretty much the only one, called Registered Retirement Savings Plan. So there's 2 tax deductions for the employees. When you get into a business, whether you're a corporation or self-employed, sole proprietor, you have certain amount of tax deductions. But here's the thing. If you learn from a really awesome CPA and your financial advisor truly has your best interest at heart, they will educate you based on what they've learned from their accountant, so you know it's no BS and it's straight up. Because I don't like talking out of my backside.
This is what Sean's talking about. Self-employed, employed, business owner, and investor.
So many tax deductions that are available for you, Dave, that will blow your freaking mind. So you'll pay this much tax compared to this.
Yeah.
And you use your house as a wealth enhancing tool. So when people have their houses bought and paid for, let's use a number for conservative. Let's say it's worth $350,000. We have $350,000 worth of cash that we can take and generate probably, I'm going to say, $3 million in the next 5 to 10 years. Worst case scenario. If you do real estate, it'll be before then, game over financially. And you won't die broke then. See, I was born broke, but if I die broke, it's my fault.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
And I just say this. We want to help you. And this is, remember, this is not a pitch zone. So we want you to understand that the reason why I love doing what I do is to help you pay less tax and actually have a business that actually pays for itself, so you can reap the benefits of not working until the day you pass away. That's my commitment to you.
And that's why we bring people on like Dave, because he can really, I mean, he's an example of that, right?
And here's one other thing, just so you guys are aware. Julia and I both come from the financial services world. We will be creating our own course. We're in the process of doing that to help you as entrepreneurs, as upcoming entrepreneurs, take your life to a whole new level financially with the strategies that we know and have already used.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys. I'll be sharing that course with my people for sure.
Because I believe this. The schools do not teach our people and our kids, our younger generation that's going to grow up to be fathers and mothers like we are now, about what it takes to be financially fit as well as mentally fit. Because they learned from people that are more messed up financially than we are. And I want to break that cycle for my kids, because I wasn't born in money. And I'm pretty sure many of you weren't either.
Nope.
So that's my passion for that. And one day we will have this as a live talk show, just like Steve Harvey, my uncle.
We got Steve Harvey and Alfonso.
Yeah, Alfonso. Yeah. So Nevia, you have something? I know she does. She always does. We unmuted you, sweetheart. What are you up to?
Nothing, sitting in the parking lot getting ready to go into this job. I got on kind of late, so I didn't really hear everything you guys were talking about, but you just really like opened my eyes to something when you just said that about the tax shelter.
Yeah.
And the insurance. Yeah, that's wow. I didn't even know that existed, or you could do that, you know.
There's lots of strategies that you have advantage of taking as a taxpayer in the United States, and as we do here in Canada, because the rich get richer and the poor get poorer for some of these strategies that we're going to share with you, and it'll blow your mind on what you have access to you as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Now there's one downfall to that whole thing. You pay for it with your health, so you have to get medically approved. Once you are medically approved on an insurance policy, you can tax shelter a boatload of freaking money. You tell your advisor, and if you're whatever, we can talk about this later, but you tell them, hey, I'm interested in doing this. How much life insurance do I need to buy to get that? And they'll guide you. And I can help you find that right person. I have very good relationships on both sides of the border to be able to help you tax shelter your money and protect your assets. And especially when it comes to real estate, if you know a lot of people that are in real estate that have a boatload of assets, you know, $5, $10, $20 million, they need that in their corporation's name, not their personal name, because they can lose everything overnight. So there's lots of things. And Julia and I talked about this a couple weeks back. We will create our own course to educate consumers on how to protect their stuff based on what we know and what we've learned. And I'm super excited about that.
You have no idea how my stomach's going right now, Sean, with it. It's coming together in my mind is how it's gonna look. Thank you.
and it's okay. I don't know how everything is going to piece together, but that's why we have people to help us do that. And then we're going to offer an affiliate program with that. And it's game over. Game over just on that one thing. When my book comes out before the end of the year, we're going to do the same thing. Anybody that is in my friends and whatever, and they want to, you know, leverage my book, here's a bunch of copies. Leverage my book.
Yep.
Talk about working hard for our families and for other people, because my friend and I we both are married over 30 years. And what came on with the book that I'm reading right now is talking about long-term relationships, long-term marriages, because lots of people don't want to do that commitment. They're interested in being married, but they're not committed, you know, being in a long-term relationship. There's a big difference. All of us understand that from the business point. But we can apply that in every area of our life, you know, because there's so many people that say, oh, you pissed me off, I'm out of here. You know, it's true. Nivea, you laugh, but you tell me it's not true.
Well, and why do you think most people hate their jobs? Because they know, hey, I go to work, I give an hour, I get $12 an hour.
Yeah.
I'm not compensated to give my all. See, when you give your all here, and I told Darby this, and I told Emily this. Do you realize how serious I am about the success in our lives for our family? I'm willing to die for it to get it all. See, and I said this to Darby. I said, Darby, I love you like a brother from another mother. We've been friends for 28 years. But you have to be willing to lose everything to get everything. That's a serial entrepreneur, and I'm obsessed with being successful so I can help those 250 families, free them from the financial ruins of the dungeons of debt.
Yes,
That's my commitment.
I love that.
Get your voice, the dungeons of debt. And it's true, that's where they're at.
Yeah, it is.
So that's why we do what we do every day. Nivea, do you have any closing remarks before you have to go to work?
No, but well.
I know you do. I can see it. The wheels are turning.
Well, I mean, I just wanted to say this, just for anybody that is in any type of business, you know, or trying to start one, or just want to work for themselves. Consistency is key, and I found that out just lately, where with the business opportunities that I'm doing, I've started to see results because I've been consistent, you know, and not doing something one day and then not doing something this day, you know. And I just wanted to say that, you know, just to be consistent and just keep plugging away and keep doing, you know, doing what you're doing. That's all.
Awesome.
Awesome. And here's one other thing. People don't care how much you know until they know you care. See, it's not about this, it's about this. Mm-hmm. And if your heart's bigger than your ego and your analytical brain, you will attract, you'll be the attractor factor, because people want to know that you're going to be there to guide them and support them. Not maybe that, you know, hold their hands. We're in the trenches together. We're on this same journey together. That's the best part. And when you have that environment, you know, you don't fail unless you quit. And I tell people this, hey, you want to quit? You go and tell your wife why she can't go on that anniversary vacation. Let's see how that works for you, like Robert Hollis says. How's that working for you? You go tell your little girl or your little son, hey, you can't play hockey because I'm a loser and I don't want to make any money. I want to struggle financially and have money control me. You go and tell them that. I'll tell you this, I'm not doing that. Whatever it takes, I'll sacrifice whatever to give to my kids. And this is no different. I'll lose sleep to go and help somebody. Somebody reach out to me at 3 o'clock in the morning and it's 5 o'clock in the morning their time. Hey, I'm there. They know what they got to do to get a hold of me. I'm pretty easy to get a hold of.
Yeah, definitely. Dave's working over there. You can tell he's working. That's all right. Well, I don't know. Sean, do you have anything more you want to ask or share?
No, I'm good. I'm just going to close off with this. I appreciate your time, Dave. We appreciate you. We love you like a brother from another mother.
Thank you.
Nivea, you're my sister from another mister. We appreciate you being here and supporting us. We just want to say this, guys. If you guys are sick and freaking tired of struggling financially, not doing anything in the business that you guys started in, this is the environment for you. Reach out to us. We can have a one-on-one Skype call. Find out what some of your challenges are and help you get back onto the road from the ditch that you're in. We truly want to help you. Have a great day, guys. We'll see you on the next Success with Dynamic Duo episode.
Thank
Peace
you so
out.
much.
Peace out, guys.